Today's January 3rd, and today's quote is entitled, "What can you achieve in Krishna consciousness?" I like to ask myself, what could I achieve in Krishna consciousness if I removed this or that anartha from my life? And the answer is always a resounding, I would be much stronger, more blissful, and way more peaceful. Also, I would be more fulfilled, and my spiritual progress would obviously be less hindered. So my question for you is, what is the biggest obstacle to your spiritual progress? Now, this question is simple, and it may not seem to you like answering that question is going to make a big difference, but it's an amazingly powerful question. Even if you ask it materially, what is the biggest obstacle holding you back from achieving success at whatever it is, in your marriage, in your career, in your health, in your finances, whatever. And when you find that biggest obstacle, you realize if that wasn't there, pretty much the road would be clear, and I would have been successful long ago, or at least way more successful than I am now. So when I look at the word anartha, I like to think of something in the way between me and Krishna. What is the biggest thing that's standing in the way between me and Krishna? That's called, anartha means unwanted. But something which is unwanted, it's getting in the way of the relationship. So you ask yourself the question, what is the biggest thing in your life getting in the way of your relationship with Krishna? What's that thing, if it wasn't there, which could be a way of thinking, a particular anartha, a particular attitude, something you're doing, something you should be doing that you're not doing? What is that biggest thing that if it wasn't there would kind of just make the path to Krishna consciousness really easy, really simple? And by doing this exercise, you realize that one thing is really a huge problem. And if I could work on that one thing, it's going to make a huge difference. Now, we have to get some perspective on that one thing. What is that one thing? Is it pride? Is it lust? Is it greed? Is it specific attachment to something? And when you isolate it, I want you to meditate on this example, because giving it up is easier than you think, because when we look at that obstacle, we think, wow, that is huge. I don't think I can give it up. So Prabhupada told the story that there was a king who didn't understand how it is that we are entangled in this world, why we just can't get out of it, why is it so difficult? And so many pundits gave him answers, and he wasn't satisfied. So one pandit figured out, I know how to answer this question. So he asked the king, come with me outside. And he went and he embraced a tree. And while he was embracing the tree, he yelled, let me go, let me go. And then the king understood. It's not that we're being embraced by Maya, it's that we're embracing Maya. So whatever that obstacle is, it's not embracing us, although that's what it feels like, but we're actually embracing it. We're attached to it. We don't want to let it go. And so whenever you're dealing with that obstacle or you're ever dealing with that problem, if you think like this, it's very powerful, because you realize that attachment is created by you. You're trying to enjoy it. You are willfully not letting it go. You are willfully deciding to hold on to it. You're willfully deciding to deal with it in some way other than letting it go. Enjoy it, hold on to it, inspect it, talk about it, whatever it is. So when you understand that, you look at that obstacle that you've isolated. This is my biggest obstacle. And then you think, okay, I am consciously trying to enjoy this, or I'm consciously holding on to this. And if I just let go, if I back out, if I focus on it, if I'm clear on what it is and start working on it, it's going to make a huge difference in your spiritual life. So here's a problem that I've seen in the lives of many devotees. There's a big obstacle, and there's such an attachment for it, they don't even want to isolate it. They don't even want to work on it, because they're afraid that, well, if I give it up, I won't be happy. Or they think, if I won't even be able to give it up. So they just kind of suppress it and pretend like it's just part of me, and when I'm 87 it'll go away. It doesn't work that way. You have to isolate it, and if you work on it now, isolate it and work on it, it starts to lose its bondage on you, its attraction on you, because you are the one letting it go. Just like, for example, as you know, I teach a course on forgiveness. So, people say, I can't let it go. And I say, you have to understand that the resentment, you're keeping it alive every day that you have resentment, you've kept it alive. You've nourished it. You've somehow or other, it's growing like a cancer within you, and you're not getting rid of it. So you have to see it that way, like, I'm keeping this attachment alive. And if I just start working on it, focusing on being clear about what it is, being clear about how detrimental it is for me in my spiritual life or any aspect of my life, and start focusing on strategies to work through it, that's how you make progress. And too many of us, we just run away from our problems. We pretend they're not there. We tell ourselves we can't deal with it. It's too difficult. That's not how you solve problems. You can deal with it. There's no question you can deal with it, but you have to face it. You have to acknowledge it. And you have to put your attention on it and stop holding on to it. New Year's, January 3rd. Let's do this stuff. Let's make this the best year ever for Krishna and your Krishna consciousness.